All right, let's talk about ethical AI auditing. So many companies are jumping on the AI bandwagon like it's some kind of superfood smoothie, right? They're hoping for these amazing magical results, but they're not really checking the ingredients. So what happens when that secret ingredient is actually bias? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by breaking down what AI auditing actually is. Then, we'll dive into the very real and frankly scary risks of letting AI run unchecked. We'll also look at how the rules are changing to keep everyone accountable. After that, we'll open up the auditor's playbook to see the nitty-gritty of how it's done. And finally, we'll wrap up by showing you how this whole thing can actually be a massive competitive advantage.
All right, first things first, what in the world is AI auditing? Let's just think of it as the essential health check for your algorithms. It's that important.
I love this analogy. Leaving your AI to its own devices is kind of like leaving a toddler alone in a room with a fresh set of markers and beautiful white walls. You might come back to a creative masterpiece, or you might come back to a permanent, shocking mess. So you have to ask yourself, which one is your AI creating right now?
So when we say ethical AI auditing, what we're really talking about is a systematic evaluation. It's a deep dive to make sure that your AI systems are fair, that they're compliant with the law, and that they actually line up with your company's values. Honestly, the best way to think about it is a quality check, a health inspection for your code, to make sure there are no nasty surprises hiding in it. Now let's get into why this is so unbelievably critical. Because the stakes here are incredibly high. And, nothing illustrates that better than a few cautionary tales from the real world.
I mean, just look at the numbers. AI isn't some niche experiment anymore. It is booming. A full 83% of executives say it is a top priority for their business. And with that kind of adoption, making sure your AI is fair and legal, that's not just optional anymore. It is absolutely non-negotiable.
And let's be clear, this isn't just some feel-good exercise. This stuff hits your bottom line hard. Auditing helps you cut down on massive financial and reputational risks. It helps you build trust with your customers, which is everything. It actually improves the quality of the decisions your AI makes. And of course, it keeps you on the right side of a whole bunch of new laws that are popping up everywhere.
So let's look at a big one, Amazon. They built this AI recruiting tool, and they trained it on 10 years of their own resume data. Sounds good, right? Well, the problem was that data was overwhelmingly from men. The result? The AI literally taught itself to penalize resumes that had the word women's in them and to downgrade graduates from all women's colleges. It was such a mess that Amazon had to scrap the whole thing.
Or remember this one? Twitter's old image cropping algorithm? People started noticing this really disturbing pattern. When you uploaded a photo with multiple people, the AI consistently centered on white faces in the previews. It was effectively cropping out people with darker skin tones, literally making some people invisible. Twitter had to ditch the feature and give users back control. And what's really interesting is how subtle this bias can be. Check this out. A study from Carnegie Mellon found that Google's ad system was showing ads for high-paying jobs to men way more often than to women. And just look at that gap on the screen, over 1,800 views for men and just over 300 for women. Without anyone realizing it, the algorithm was quietly making the gender pay gap even worse. And that right there is the big lesson from all these stories. If you don't peek under the hood of your AI, you really might find that it's giving VIP treatment to one group of people and totally shortchanging another. And that, of course, can have huge real-world consequences.
And look, this isn't just about avoiding a PR nightmare anymore. The legal ground is literally shifting under our feet. Compliance is simply no longer optional. Just take New York City's Local Law 144. This is a first-of-its-kind law in the U.S. It says that any company using AI for hiring in the city has to get an annual independent bias audit and, get this, they have to publish the results. That is setting a huge precedent for everyone else.
And this isn't just a U.S. thing. This is a global trend. Over in Europe, they're finalizing the EU AI Act. It's going to classify AI systems by risk level. So if your AI is considered high risk, think hiring or lending, you're going to face incredibly strict rules about fairness and transparency, with potential fines that could run into the millions of euros.
So, at the end of the day, you can't just throw your hands up and say, hey, the algorithm did it. That's just not going to fly. If you deploy the system, the responsibility is yours, plain and simple. An audit is basically your insurance policy.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the how. How do you actually do one of these audits? Let's open up the playbook and see how it works.
The good news is you don't have to start from scratch here. The Institute of Internal Auditors has a great framework. It starts with strategy. Does this AI actually align with your business goals and your values? Next up is governance. Who's in charge here? You need clear policies, clear roles, clear oversight. Then you have to consider the human factors. Who is this AI impacting? Your customers, your employees? Their well-being has to be part of the equation. And finally, you get to the technology itself, a deep dive into the data and the algorithms to test for fairness, bias, and security.
Okay, this is where the rubber really meets the road. Your audit checklist needs to be concrete. You have to ask, is our training data diverse, or is it skewed like Amazon's was? You need to test the outcomes. Are the results fair for different groups of people? And this next one is crucial. You have to ensure explainability. If your AI denies someone a loan, can you explain exactly why? And finally, you have to verify that you're compliant with all those laws we talked about. The golden rule through all of this? Document everything. If you can't prove you did it, it's like it never happened.
Now, I want us to completely reframe this conversation, because this isn't just about avoiding disaster. Thinking about AI auditing in the right way can actually become a powerful competitive advantage, a true business asset.
And this just illustrates the difference perfectly. Just look at it side by side. With an unaudited AI, your risk is high and, frankly, unknown. Customer trust is fragile, your reputation is vulnerable. But with an audited AI, your risk is managed and reduced. Your customer trust is strong, your brand reputation is resilient, and your compliance is totally demonstrable. I mean, which side of that chart would you rather be on? It's a no-brainer, right?
This quote just nails it. Ethical AI isn't some boring compliance cost you have to pay. It is a growth enabler, a risk reducer, and a value multiplier for your entire business. It turns out doing the right thing really does pay off.
So, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. An AI audit is the seatbelt for your company. You wouldn't dream of driving a car without one. So why on earth would you deploy powerful AI without this fundamental safeguard in place? It's what ensures you have a safe journey forward.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Right now, as we speak, your AI is making decisions every single second about your customers, about your job applicants, about your business. And the only question that matters is, who is checking its work?